Hey, make sure you subscribe for more hacks in the future. Everybody here wants to learn what's going on with the newest updates in technology. But I'm coming to you transparently. I am not a technology guru with all of this. I have learned what I know from the people who are in this room and other people who I know out in the community, and other people learn from me when I get to share what I have learned from others. True story. I have had to come into learning technology because I've had a couple humbling experiences where I didn't know and things were coming out for my students and I was not familiar with it. So I think one of the first examples that I remember is when my students started coming in with Bluetooth in their hearing aids. And I was like, "Oh, Bluetooth in your hearing aids, like what does that even mean? You can have music in your hearing aids? Like that's kind of amazing." They knew or they were getting it, and I didn't know that it existed. Then I started telling parents about this Bluetooth option inside their hearing aids. And then I found out at that time, inside those hearing aids, you could either have Bluetooth or you could have DM or FM system. You couldn't have both. So then we started having kids come to school and they had their Bluetooth turned on, but now it was like, oh, shoot, wait, now they can't access their classroom because and I didn't know how to navigate this. I didn't realize that it was happening. Then when my first student came in with a dome ear molds, I didn't know those were coming. I was like, those are so cool. They're so small. I didn't know. And then I started trying to teach a student how to clean his ear molds. And I didn't realize that he actually had an in the canal hearing aid that was inside of the dome. Like I was like, I am clearly not keeping up with this. Rechargeable batteries, another thing that I was like, oh man, rechargeables. Okay, this is cool. But what happens now if they forget to charge and now their hearing aids are dead? So I had a lot of experiences that I realized that I was not personally keeping up. So tonight, actually, I've got three of my people in the room that have been sort of my helpers and my teachers tonight, and we've got Sean Roboto is here. Sean's my good friend. All right, he's my deaf bud, and he has taught me. We've got our interpreter in the room tonight, is a convo interpreter. We're going to be talking about that. Sean is the one who taught me about convo interpreting. And then we've got Tina Childress in the room. Okay, there's Tina. Also, my good friend, I've been texting with Tina nonstop the last couple of days, like, Tina, I want to make sure I have this information straight. And Dawn is from Oticon. Now, FYI, uh, we've got a power hour with Dawn on Thursday. Okay, so tonight I've got a couple of these that I want to talk about with you, and we are going to focus on a few of these technologies. How many of you are familiar with live captions and on your cell phones? Let's start with that. This is, to me, one of the easiest things for us to do and add and make sure that your students are familiar with it. So this is an accessibility feature in your phone, and it provides captioning on the spot for wherever they are. And it has improved in a really big way recently. Yeah, there's a big issue because personal devices not outlawed for public schools in our state. So, you know, this is a really great thing that you're bringing up because we're not talking about cell phones for using for social media, using for anything like that. We're talking about it as an accessibility feature. So you can go to your school and talk about IDEA and ADA because you can add it to the IEP because legally it is an accessibility issue. And I like to compare it to this. We don't allow kids to have roller skates in school or wheels, of course, but if we have a student who is in need of a wheelchair, of course, we're going to let them have a wheelchair to get to their classes. It's an accessibility situation. So you can add that and you can point that out that that is IDEA, ADA for your students. 504, whatever you want to add, whatever law we want to talk about. In any case, I want to make sure that everybody is familiar with this. On your phone, you want to go to your settings, and then you want to go to your accessibility features under settings. Under the accessibility features, make sure that you go to the live captions. It's under hearing. And then you go to the live captions and make sure that it's turned on. You'll get this little kind of bubble. I've got mine right here. You get this kind of bubble right here, and you then can open it up and things will start, it'll start listening for you and it will start captioning for you. So once it goes, then it will start captioning for you. The advances in this has gotten really quite good. My deaf friends actually can go to a meeting where they've got a number of people who are around the table and there's maybe multiple conversations going on or people who are talking across the table. And this will pick it up pretty well. It also is able to caption in phone calls. So now this is one of the things I was chatting with Tina about today. I always have my students, a lot of my students are really scared to make phone calls. And so we put on speakerphone and then it will caption the speakerphone. Our kids, they don't like to make phone calls, but we are still in a society that's talking on the phone. So we still have to do phone calls for appointments. There's lots of things. They would rather text everything, but we need to make sure that our students are able to talk on the phone, make appointments, and do all of that. So this is an easy one. Also inside of the same section of accessibility under the hearing, you'll notice the sound and name recognition. And this is interesting. If you kind of play around with that and you turn the sounds on, there are settings for your fire alarm, smoke alarm, and sirens so that you can get notifications when those sounds are happening. So a little better to see. And I think that you can kind of adjust the sensitivity of that. They also will tell you there's also settings that you can add dog barking, baby crying, and all of that. And you can adjust how sensitive it is. If it's really sensitive, any noise that goes off, it will say, oh, there's dog barking. Oh, there's the water is dripping. But there's some really easy accessibility. So this is on Apple phones and Android phones. Most of our students, probably middle school and up, have cell phones at this point. So I really, 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 really recommend that you find that with them, for them, and you help them learn how to use that. The next thing I want to talk about is Innocaption.
What makes Innocaption special? What makes Innocaption special to me is that you can switch over seamlessly and easily during the phone call from AI to a live stenographer. So that means if I'm calling a bank or if I'm calling an airline agency with a problem, and they have a heavy accent, I can get somebody who's hearing on the line without them knowing to caption my phone call for me. Even better, the live stenographers will supply additional information, like if there's a baby crying in the background, or if they're at a noisy bar or a restaurant, or if there's some kind of ambulance sound in the background. That gives me more access to feel more present and engaged with the conversation. Innocaption usually... A lot of times patients will ask me, am I going to have to use a new number or can I use my same number? Rest assured, you can use your same cell phone number. Another feature that I love is call forwarding. Anytime a call comes into my phone, it goes right to the Innocaption app. So it opens it right there and I can start reading the captions. Another feature that I love is that all of your transcriptions are saved. So if I'm busy with my kids or just in clinic, I can go back and look at my transcripts and look up that address or that phone number or that medication and have that right there. Most of the time in clinic is so easy to set up, I do it on their phone for them. They'll ask for some patient information. First name, last 4 digits of social security number, and address. This is because the app is FCC certified and they just need to make sure that the patient is eligible for the app. Note for audiologists, you don't have to send an audiogram to verify their hearing loss. It's the patient that self-certifies their hearing loss to use the app. And the best part of it, the app is offered at no cost for the patient because it's FCC certified.
Is there a subscription fee?
Nope.
Are there hidden charges?
Nope.
Are you gonna bill me per minute?
Nope.
Okay, so that is called Innocaption. Tina, is there anything that video? I loved that Michelle was representing that video. So this is just another cell phone captioning feature. And what's cool about this one is that it can shift to a live captionist as needed, and it shows some of that background information, those background noises. Tina, is there anything else that wasn't kind of highlighted in that short little video there?
Yeah, so we have a couple of new features. One, we can do text to speech in the app. So if your student has non-standard speech, like these are the kids where Alexa and Siri doesn't understand their voice, they can type their response. And then we have another feature, kind of part of that, called AI Refine. So let's say you're talking to your audiologist and you just type battery dead, it will expand the sentence to say, my battery is dead, I'd like more information. Like you get to check before you hit send, but it expands it into a whole sentence. So if your student struggles with grammar, it's pretty cool. The third thing I guess I'd like to say is that there is a browser version of this. So you can put it, you can take and make calls from your computer through the Innocaption website. And so like I'm always in front of my computer and it's just easier for me to just look over at, one of my 3 screens and get the phone call over there, and the captions are a lot bigger. It's great for students that also have vision loss, so if they need larger text and things like that.
Awesome. Now, this again, for you teachers, for you parents, you can access this on your cell phone with your student. You don't need to go to the audiologist. You don't need to ask for an audiogram. You don't need any of that. You can just grab it inside of your phone, right?
Yeah, and the other thing I can say, if you want to have the Innocaption app on your phone, you can request a demo version. And the reason that we have demo versions is because unless you have hearing loss, we don't want you using the app because then it will be billing the FCC. But we do have a demo that you can use to show your students.
So we definitely want our students to be using this technology, learning this technology.
That little icon or that little, button that you were talking about, you can move it around the screen and put it wherever you want, but it's always going to be where you don't want it. But if you go to the accessibility settings and go all the way down to accessibility shortcuts, put a check mark next to live captions, then what you do is you triple click on the side of your button and it pops up. And when you want it to go away, triple click on it again and it goes away.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't even know that because it's disappeared a couple times for me. And I'm like, where is my captioning?
Yeah.
So
And it will default to the view that you just used. So if you are in the view where it's just a little strip at the bottom, hit the arrows to put it full screen. And then when you turn on and off the accessibility shortcut, it'll come on and off in full screen.
So it's very worthwhile when you're with your student to kind of play around with this, get some YouTube videos, kind of Google live captions, Innocaption, and kind of learn together what that's going to look like.
Visit our website to learn more about becoming a Professional Academy member and catch us next week with a new hack for you.